Okay. Is it this? Okay, we're gonna start right now. So if everybody could take their seats, it's 1 o'clock.
Okay, you luck her.
And I'm gonna ask everyone to please mute your cell phone, including the board. And I'm gonna ask everyone to, I don't know, it could be this, but I'm far away from it. I'm going to ask everyone to mute your phone and ask you also not to talk because it's a distraction up here unless it's your turn to talk. So if you want to speak today, I'm going to ask somebody else to give me their microphone. If you're going to speak today, okay, if you're going to speak today, want to speak today, we'll have a rotation time when you can speak. But please fill out the form that's in the back and just put your name and your house and unit number and put it in the container in the back, and we'll go back and get it before that section of the meeting. So if you have something to say today, please do that. Okay, Karen, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Karen, can you do the video disclaimer, please?
Sure. This annual meeting is being filmed and posted on the member portal of the First Service Connect website. If you speak during homeowner comments, your image and comments will be included in the filming. Private audio or video recordings are prohibited.
And Karen, can you do roll call, please?
Sure. Len Lazinski, here. Peter Kornick, Sandy Reiser, here. Kelly Byrne, present. Roxanne Rebel, here. Evelyn Thomas, here. Karen Bishop, here.
It's good you got that last time. Okay, Ellen, can you come forward? This is Ellen Marciel. She is the chairperson of the nominating committee. Let's hear it for Ellen. So, Ellen, who has been superb, would you introduce your team, and then would you introduce the candidates, please?
Yes.
And turn your microphone on.
Okay, hi, I'm Ellen Marciel, Chair of the Nominating Committee. My colleagues were Tony Schwab, Gail Olenek, Pat McCardle, and Ruth Gross. Thanks to all of them. I've been on lots of committees, and this was the best one I've been on. They were great. Your candidates today are in alphabetical order by last name: Lisa Baggett, Karen Bishop, Kelly Byrne, Teresa Chamberlain-Spradlin, Kurt Conant, Kathleen Dowling, Peggy Moore, Sandy Reiser, and John Vogt.
Thank you, Ellen. Thanks for a great job you guys all did. Much kudos to the committee. Do I have a motion to dissolve the nominating committee?
I have a motion to dissolve the nominating committee as per our bylaws.
Second?
Second.
Either seconds or everybody's excited today to do that. Okay, any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 7-0-0. Nominations are now closed because it's after 1 o'clock. And now, Joshua, are you ready to come front for a minute? No, but I'm coming. This is Joshua Tatum, and he is the CEO of the Secret Ballot, and he is our Inspector of Elections. If somebody could hand him a microphone, just let him introduce himself, tell us if we've got a quorum, and tell us what you're going to do.
Hello, my name.
It's probably not on, so you have to hold the mute for a few seconds till the little green light comes on.
There you go.
So once again, my name is Josh Tatum, and I am the CEO of the Secret Ballot, Inspector of Elections Company. In terms of quorum, we can duly certify that you do have quorum.
I'm very excited.
So we arrived today with 338 bona fide ballots, and we received in upwards of 50 to 60 additional ones. We haven't 100% validated those yet, but we have exceeded the requirement for quorum. So we can open and tabulate today. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to just go ahead and start tabulating the votes. And any voided ballots, we'll have a report toward the end of our announcement today as to how many voided ballots that we do have, but they won't affect your quorum. So your results will actually be recorded as of today.
Great, thank you. Now go count. All right, next up on our agenda is to approve the minutes from last year. So if you go back, anybody have any questions on the minutes that were in your packet from last year?
I abstain.
Okay, Kelly's going to abstain because she wasn't here, that's correct. Anybody have anything else? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes? I'm going to give it to Peter this time. And
I'll second it.
okay, Roxanne's going to second. Any discussion about them? Any changes, anything? All in favor, raise your hand. Lynn, are you a yes? 601, correct? You're abstain? Yeah, okay. All right. It's funny to see minutes from a year ago. Okay, before I do my report, I want to talk about the ballots that you got in the mail the other day. To make this really clear, so we have an election for the bylaw changes, okay, and so that had to be separate from the candidate election, or if we didn't make quorum, we could not do the candidate election. So we chose to do them separately. Not only are we doing this separately, but we're having 2 ballots for the bylaws because our quorums are different on those bylaws. So there's one that requires a 51% quorum and one that requires a 67%. So if you've received one, it's probably yellow, and then you'll receive one that's blue. You need to return these in the envelope that's in the package that you got, and you need to return them separately or they will not be counted. So there is a big, long, hairy explanation in the highlights coming. I put one in the e-blast yesterday, but that's sort of the gist of it. If you have a question about the actual what am I voting for? We try to make that as detailed as possible, but Kelly and Karen can answer any questions you have on that because that was their project. And those had to be in by April 24th. You can bring them in between 9 and 9:30 when the board meeting starts that day. That's when they'll start to tally. Josh will be back. We'll do the same thing we're doing right now. But that's when that election will actually be. Thank you, Lee.
It's not done.
I know, it has its own life.
Sandy, push your,
It's,
something's loose.
this happened earlier, and just doing that fixed it. He did. It's showing. One moment, please. Okay, yes. And we're going to wait just 1 minute while we fix the technical difficulty, because nothing can ever just go the way you plan it. It's funny hearing them zapping in the background, isn't it? Whatever you did before, Lee, it was working. Okay, there it is. Oh, it was.
Jesus Christ, I never see this woman's skin.
That's why you want to mute it.
Mute what? Okay, it's there. Don't touch anything. Okay, if it goes off again, we now know what to do. We send Lee and Peter up there and we get it done. Okay, we good? Thank you. Okay, that was by the ballots. So the next thing is the president's report. That's mine. So I have written something to make sure that I don't forget the people that I don't want to forget. So I want to welcome you, all of the homeowners who are here today. It's nice to see the room so full. It's not usually so full. Today the board is going to talk about everything we've accomplished this year, but I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about the people who made it all happen. I've been a member of this board for 2 years, and while it felt really long sometimes, it's hard to believe that it's been really 2 years already. My husband Bernie, who's sitting in the second row with his head down, pretty sure he thinks it's been 10 years. He's nodding his head yes. In my 2 years on the board, we've had some really large challenges. We moved from self-managed to one managed by a professional community management company, and it's one of the biggest challenges any community can undertake. But we did it, and we're still doing it, with thoughtful and challenging minds. We went through the hardest year in 2023, right, Lynn? Under what I call the austerity program, to finally balance our finances with the budget at the end of December of 2023. We recently hired a new landscaping company to bring light and life to the natural beauty of this area that we are really blessed to call home. This expense is one of our largest that OCA has, and it was a long and very well thought out process to get us here when we started with the new company just 2 weeks ago. If you haven't seen them out there, you haven't been looking because they're really active. It's been great. We've gone through major legal challenges that are definitely not for the faint of heart. We've had those where the homeowners brought legal action against the association, and then the action we are taking to find a solution to what I call the original sin of OCA, the land lease. Almost $1 million a year comes from you to go to a group of people that are descendants of the developers. While it has been painful and costly, we do need to know this once and for all. If we have to continue with this albatross around our neck that the association has caused so much strife among our neighbors. I think it goes without saying this would be a very different place if it weren't for that land lease. We streamlined the election process after the 2022 election. This was Karen and I's first project of many that we did, and the past 2 elections has gone as they should. Many thanks to Ellen and her team for the hard work they put in to let you make a decision of how you want the community to be led going forward. One of my pride and joys, where's Gail? One of my pride and joys was the creation of the Hub last year, bringing print, digital, and website communications together so the working parts of our association have an easy way to get out the word about all the wonderful things that are going on in our community. I could not be more proud of the dedication that small band of definitely crazy people brings to you, the homeowners. Thank you, Gail, for leading the committee, and thank you, Lynn, for starting it off last year. They call themselves hubbies, so if you want to say hi, hubby. And as any board has to grapple with, there's our duty to keep OCA financially sound. With our land lease and the grip the pandemic had on our world for almost 2 years, this for sure has not been easy. We've had to make decisions that were not in our own personal best interests, but this group of people, the ones sitting here up at this table, did that, along with so many other homeowners who helped us in that process, not just during the budget cycle, but all year. So I want to thank as many people as I can. To the homeowners who share kind words with me, we often hear from the loudest people at the board meeting, but there are a lot of homeowners who really appreciate our efforts on their behalf, even when it's hard for them personally. And I want to thank them for reaching out. I really want to thank all of the volunteers and committees who support the board with their time, talent, and determination. We owe a great deal to them, and a special shout out to Activities for making it fun too. Yay. To our community management partner, First Service Residential, a serious thank you. It's not been easy, it's hurt at many junctures, but the past 6 weeks I've seen a significant turnaround that makes me feel optimistic about our future. Welcome Mike to the community, you'll get to hear a little bit about him later. And thank you Marissa for all of your support, especially of me and the board during this transition. And last to this group of individuals up here sitting at this table with me. As those of you who have served, you know, your first year is your internship. You're figuring out the mechanics of the organization, the people who support you, and you try to make a difference where you can. Your second year, which several of you, Roxanne, Evelyn, and Lynn, are about to embark on, is this what I call the sweet spot. You have your sea legs and you can focus on what you want your board legacy to be. You all, as homeowners, may not know it, but Peter, Karen, Lynn, Evelyn, Roxanne, and Kelly have given their heart and soul in transitioning OCA from a self-managed fly-by-the-seat-of-pants community to the goal of a managed, streamlined, and focused community. Are we there yet? No way. But because of the effort of these 7 people, OCA has taken giant steps forward. There have been some really dark times, and I am sure there are more to come. But I hope you will join me in thanking them for their service, because they have led the way to the future, and the future is indeed much brighter than it was 2 years ago. Let's hear it for them. I feel so lucky and proud to have been president of this board and all the tremendous amount of work that you guys have all done. I thank you, and our community thanks you as well. Okay. Next up, we're going to try to do this PowerPoint and hope it doesn't go out in the middle of it. So now we're going to do the year in review. And so these are this was the strategic plan that the board put in place a year ago. So 2 years ago, the 22, am I right? 22-23 board, correct? We did a strategic plan that was more of a 3-year plan. And so last year's board implemented some of those. And these are the things that we decided this year to take on. So these are the topics we decided to take on. So we're going to review those for you today. So first, we have Karen, who's going to talk to us about effective association management.
Yes, I am. So, as you can see, it took nearly a year for us to go from the strategic plan to actually hiring first service. And although Sandy did a really nice job of thanking everybody, some amazing things happened during the past year. First off, our annual meeting last March, Kelly wasn't here as our president. She took off and had a wonderful vacation. So that's St. Patrick's Day, okay? So Sandy came in as the new president, and you're going to meet Mike Flores later. He's our new general manager, so I want you to close your ears, Mike, to know what this past year was like, so you don't run away screaming. But Sandy came in. Scott had resigned. We had Amber Effinger, who had gotten a new job and moved on. David May came in as an interim to help us through that process. Then Dan Farrar started as our general manager, and then he retires. And now Marisa stepped in to help us through the first service, and now we have Mike Flores. But during this time, there was one person who held it all together with a lot of glue. And the board really appreciates your service, Sandy. And if you read the bag, this bag contains absolutely nothing urgent, mind-numbing, or stressful. And it's called Retired Life. And there are a couple items because Bernie and Sandy are going to take off and go to Cabo. So they can get ready with a new shirt for Sandy because she's retiring the old one. A little margarita helper things. And oh,
You want me to
open it up?
Okay, they want me to open up. There's nothing bad in here, is there?
No.
Okay.
Just a dead rat.
Thank you, you guys.
You can read the card later. 'Cause
I'll read
that's
the
all
card
this
later.
Yucky stuff.
I love the bag though, because there's like nothing I have to do, so. All right, in the yellow, we have, Karen must have packed this.
I can tell it's not very good.
Oh, honey, a glass rimmer. We can use that for our margaritas. And then in the blue, we have, I'm gonna try not to break anything. We have, this is such a surprise, thank you. Oh, many kinds of margaritas.
It's the salt to rim the glasses with.
Oh, this is the salt. Bernie loves margaritas.
Okay.
And then,
Bernie, mainly it's for you.
and mainly it's for Bernie, it always is. And then in the red, oh, must be my shirt.
Yeah. Well, you had to retire the old one.
Same color though. Off duty.
All right, Sandy's worked really hard this year. All the board has worked really hard, but there was somebody who was in the office getting us through all that transition, which is part of the reason why it's such a relief to move from self-managed. So for 6 years as a self-managed organization with 932 homes built 60 years ago on 140 plus acres of land, how 7 retired people who changed the board year after year after year managed to keep it together was amazing. But now we have the management company, and we did a lot of work to get there. So this slide was up last year in March, but we didn't have the April, May, and August dates back then. So first service, we did the negotiations, and in May we had a town hall where we actually made the motion to hire them, and then they actually started transition on August 1st. And as Sandy said, is everything perfect yet? Absolutely not, but we're heading that way. Next slide. So these are our goals. So now, because we're no longer board members, employers, managers, and all of that, the board of directors can get back to the business of doing planning, policy making, and letting the management manage. which is our goal. And that's been brought to our attention many times, but it's been a rough year. And then First Service Residential Management, their goal would be to advise the board, support the board, and respond to residents. So they're your support people. They're your first place where you go for any concerns or questions, whatever. So the way it's working is the board president works with the general manager, whoever the president will be as of 3:30 this afternoon, we don't know. But we do know that Mike Flores will be our new general manager. And so the board of directors and the committees, we can work with the board president, and then the general manager works with the administration, the maintenance, and also the contractors. Next. So what happens to the board now? It's not that we hire the management company and we walk away. Years ago, there was Seabreeze here. And you hear complaints, oh, for 3 years they weren't doing their job or whatever. Well, I wasn't there, I don't know what the situation was, but for this board going forward, the board's job is to hold the management company accountable. And our goals for you is to make sure, we'll start down at the bottom, enforce governing documents to make sure that we follow the rules, supervise the contractors, maintain the property. It's their responsibility to organize that for us. Provide quality and courteous service, including good response time, so we know what's going on. Provide accurate and timely financials. They have a deadline to get those to us and to the finance committee. And then the policy level is what the board is set to do. We set the policy, they implement the policy. So it's a simple process now without the board having to worry about labor law, employee handbooks, and all the rest of that. So I think going forward, the board and management will have a very copacetic relationship.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, Kelly, you're up. You want to stand like Karen, or are you just going to sit? You got really cool graphics.
I feel the pressure. Okay, so I always hate it when someone's giving a PowerPoint presentation and they read the PowerPoint, but I really can't deviate from what the slide says. So I am going to read it along with you, because as far as legal issues, March 22nd is coming up, and there will be a demurrer, and a demurrer is a legal objection to the sufficiency on what appears on the face of the court document. The demurrer seeks dismissal of a case against the defendant. The demurrer filed by the OLC will be heard in the Vista Court House on March 22nd, 1 o'clock, and there is a Zoom link that I believe went out on eBlast. And, okay, so does everybody recognize that lawyer? Okay, that's not Bill Smelko. On the March 22nd court date, the court will overrule or sustain all of the demurrer or parts of it. Opposition to the demurrers were due on the 11th of this month and have been filed by Procopio after the board approved them. That has been done. Oh gosh, you're quick with that slide. Okay, the new board will be asked to review the cross-complaint and the filed demurrers. Why? If the court overrules, denies the demurrer, OCA and Procopio will be given a chance to prepare and propound the discovery which builds the case to further the cross-complaint. Remember that the demurrer gives an information known as discovery for the continuance of the cross-complaint. If the court sustains, grants the demurrer, either all of it or parts of it, the new board can meet with Procopio to amend the cross-complaint as per the direction from the court, or seek another direction, and I believe that meeting has already been set up ahead of time. If the demurrer is granted, based on statute of limitations, the new board would be educating themselves on an important decision to either dismiss the cross-complaint or appeal the decision by amending the cross-complaint and appealing it to the Court of Appeals, which we have the right to do in the state of California. However, we have already been told that this is an expensive path per Procopio, as it means going to the trial judge and telling them they are wrong in their decision. So good luck to the new board.
Thanks, Kelly. Okay, so now Roxanne, you're next. You have two topics. The first is the landscape contractor selection.
I do. Okay, come on. It was my pleasure to head up the ad hoc committee for the landscape contractor selection. I had a great team of 8 people from the LSC committee, from the board, a couple from at large from our homeowners, management. We didn't have very much time, so we had to create and do all of this in approximately a 2-month period. So the first thing we did was we met, we got together, we created the RFP that would be going out to some proposed contractors. And the group also formulated, which I thought was probably one of the most important things, these qualitative questions. This wasn't just about how often are you going to cut the grass or if you're going to fertilize. This was also about what type of fertilizer are you going to be using and how will you help us manage our water bills. So we asked a lot of questions, and then we also submitted that with the request for the landscape contractors to give us a bid. And then the board, the ad hoc got back together and we reviewed all of that and we decided who amongst these, there were 7 of them, who amongst these we would want to interview. Well, some of them were already out of our budget, so those were gone right away. We ended up with 4 contractors to bring in an interview, and we went through the questions that we had sent to them, and there was, it's called a rubric. The rubric, and it's a form of, measuring each person's answers, and then we did this privately, the 8 of us, so none of us knew how the other one was going to be evaluating them after the interviews. And it came back pretty much unanimous. All 8 of us, we all chose the same company. We have chosen Total Creative.
Total landscape.
Total Landscape. There it is. Total Landscape Creation. So we're very excited about them. He had a lot of really great ideas, and on the next slide, you'll see some of the things that that made him stand out a little bit beyond the other ones.
You want me to just peruse through those, or are you going to read?
I'm not going to read them, but
Okay.
you can just put the first
there.
one on there. Yeah.
Oh, the first one, okay.
Okay. Okay. Well, one of the first things, I think we all can agree that we need to bring our water bills down. And one of the first things out of Bob's mouth was, I'm going to help you save on your water bills. Well, that got our attention. He has been working, his crew, 2 weeks already. They do things such as turn off the water when we know it's going to be raining. Put it back on after the rain. During the landscape committee meeting, Bob got up and suggested some different types of plantings that he could do on some of the slopes, getting rid of some that are taking all of our water, and hopefully within, he made it sound a year, we would be able to stop watering the slopes. I mean, that would be amazing. So that was huge. Second one, I know tons of you do not want us to use Roundup or any glyphosate product. So we were very excited that he does not use a glyphosate product for his weed control or any of his pesticides. They're all environmentally safe. He uses a product called Earth Ally. I looked it up, and they actually use this Earth Ally in water to get rid of algae without killing fish and other wildlife in the water. He also, which was one of the things nobody else did, he came in with a whole couple dozen areas that needed to be fixed. He pointed them out, and he said, I'm going to fix those for you at no charge. Well, that got our attention, too. He's offered to bring some color in near the clubhouse and office and poinsettias in December.
Okay.
He will also be on site, Bob, the owner, every day. He is the irrigation specialist. So not only do we have his foreman, we have Bob on site every day. This gives you a little bit of an idea of how often you might see the crew mowing or maintaining the shrubbery. a little bit of a idea of how often work orders, they plan to process them by the end of the week. Simple things like aerating and dethatching is part of a standard product for him. During his winter months, this is something that was different about him also. He does not lay off his staff, go to a smaller staff. He uses them, his crew rather, to work on things that they just can't get to during the busier months. He lives nearby, I believe in Oceanside, so he can be here in an hour. And then he's also going to use our nursery for plantings. So we'll be able to get plantings for free from our nursery if they're used by the landscape company. And he's going to do the labor for free. So we're very excited about him. Already we're hearing really good things from homeowners who have seen the crew out there working. And that's about it for that.
Okay. Karen's asking about the donuts. This is the most important thing.
We'll
Okay, so
check with donuts.
Roxanne, you have the next topic, which is
I do.
the common area
I
modifications.
do. Okay. Okay, so part of our strategic plan was also to take a look at whether or not we want to and how we want to modify or allow modifications to common area. Really a hot topic, I understand that, but we have people who have been making these modifications without being approved, okay? And I'm not talking just about pavers here. I'm talking about panels that go around these garbage cans that are outside now, air conditioning. There have been people who've put in beautiful plantings, but they put pavers and terrace them without being approved for it. So this is really to look at what we can do, what we can allow to beautify our neighborhood. We obviously are short on funds, and if we have people who live here who are willing and want to make our neighborhood beautiful, I say, let them. But we need to have it approved, we need to have guidelines, okay? And it needs to have certain parameters, where we will allow these things. Will it affect neighbors? Will it affect the irrigation? We need to offer the people making these decisions guidelines in terms of photos, and we were even talking of videos, so that we're not going to arbitrarily be making modifications. Also, it's come up that we do have we do have a litigation going on in our common area, so people have asked us to slow down. Some people are concerned about that. Some people have asked us to slow down because we may need to make some adjustments to our CC&Rs, which would be, a year from now. So we're not pushing anything. We haven't been pushing anything at everybody. We want to hear from people, make wise decisions, but yet allow for some modifications. Some people don't have an area where they can put a table out and have a little barbecue. And so if it would be an area that is perfectly private, nobody ever walks there, maybe that would be an area that would be allowed. But again, these are all things that need to be still worked on in this term going forward, with new people, new ideas, committees also to assist us in that. Okay, we also made, we have 6 motions? Yeah, 6 motions. I'm not going to read all the motions, but they're on the handout there, okay? The first one was just to decide who would be responsible for each type of modification. Secondly, we talked about the difference between a permanent and a non-permanent. Because this is leased land, we can't have anything going on it that would be permanent. So was the second motion. The third motion had to do with the compliance process. What do we do with the mavericks who just go out and do whatever they want? So that was the third motion. The fourth one also talked about allowing people who have been approved for some type of modification, landscaping project, to have their own contractor. Homeowners felt in the past that they were being forced to use one company, and they wanted to be able to search around and find somebody who fit the bill, maybe cost a little bit less, but with parameters that we put together in terms of licensing, insurance, things like that. The final two, we definitely need to go back, scrutinize our CC&Rs. We thought we did that, but there's still some different interpretations, and so we do need to go back, look at that again, make sure that we don't need to make any changes, hear from everybody who has a thought on that, and that's what we'll be continuing to work forward at a slow pace. Thank you.
All right, Peter's going to talk about reduced physical risk with my microphone, which is his microphone.
Okay, I'm going to read the notes on the board because they're very different than what I wrote, but anyway.
This is exactly what you wrote.
Oh, okay. So this is my latest version. A little bit of history. Safety in the community is very important to me. Safety involves identifying risks and doing something about them as soon as possible. In Oceana, we want to keep the homeowners safe, especially those with vulnerabilities. Our greatest risk factor by far is falls. Okay, we had an insurance settlement of a claim brought against HOA 2 years ago that resulted in a payout of $1 million, in excess of $1 million. And it subsequently affected our ability to get insurance. Farmers wanted to drop us, or did drop us, based upon that huge claim. And we scrambled for a good period of time trying to get an insurance carrier to cover us, and eventually did. The strategy or the problem then became, how do you get this done? How do you get this done on an ongoing basis? Whose job is it to go around and look at risk, report them, and make sure that they get remediated as quickly as possible? I took the issue on when I joined the board, became a topic on the strategic plan. The HOA settled the huge thing, the huge payout. And then our previous manager, Dan, suggested we have a facilities committee because where he worked previously, they had a facilities committee. And we didn't have one. And it seemed to make sense in terms of the gap between our architecture committee and our landscape committee. And Tracy in the office was overwhelmed in terms of compliance and going out and looking at things. So the Facilities Committee was formed in August of last year. We mobilized a number of volunteers. The charter went through a revision, and we focused specifically on risk management and safety. What happens each month is volunteers go out, they look at a unit or two, and identify 3 significant risk management slip-fall issues, and come back and report them. And then we track progress from the previous month in terms of whether or not those issues identified in the previous month were remedied. And the committee does its work, yes, obviously. Now that we have the committee, does that mean that we're all absolved from going around and looking at issues and or reporting them? No. Our philosophy, and it should be the philosophy of everyone in the community, is see something, say something. Safety is a team issue, and everyone is on this team that lives here. And it is our collective job to ensure that we all are safe. So carry on.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, Lynn, you had the next one that we worked on, which is to reduce financial risk. Hey, she got her microphone. Yes. I told you, March.
One of our goals was to reduce financial risk. We've made some significant strides towards that. First one, I can't even say that the board did this. I think that the community works together to consistently manage the 2023 budget. It was a tight budget. We had to do without a lot of things, and everybody supported that and put it in, and we got through it. We wanted our landscape addressed a little bit more often. The budget didn't allow, and we hung in there, and we made it happen.
So I want to thank everyone for, even when it was tough and it wasn't understandable, for hanging in there, because it did benefit all of us by doing that. We looked at everything that we were spending as it came in. I think if you were at board meetings, you heard Sandy anytime money came up say, Lynn, what GL is it go under? We watched everything. The 2022 board is the one that set that budget. So congratulations and thanks to that board for doing a good job and getting us off to a good start. Hiring the community management company also reduced our risks and saved money. They have the accounting department that does a lot of the work that used to be done locally or coordinated with a contracted accountant, and that helps a lot. We're still involved in that. We still approve the invoices. We still know what's going on. We have access to the reports, but they do the work. So that's great. We also aligned our investments with Davis Sterling guidelines. We had quite a few investments that we had opened or started several years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. Following COVID, the state changed things and Davis Sterling adjusted what HOAs were allowed to invest in based on losses that were incurred at that time, and they wanted to make sure that were in the safest places. So we realigned that. We put, at one of our first board meetings, I think, we put $250,000 that was in a checking account into market rate account, and that's earned several $1,000s over the last year. We performed a detailed budget development. A lot of people say, when did you do that? How did that happen? It started actually in July and August. The difference in this year versus the prior year that I was involved in is that this year, I saved invoices for all of the things that we pay all the time, like the pool maintenance and the copier and the photo machine, or the postage machine. So instead of looking at trends like we looked at in the past, we were able to look at what is our actual expense going to be for pool maintenance, and we had it. What is our actual expense? So there wasn't a lot of time or need to discuss, well, have we hit the right number, or, are we projecting that? We had actuals. And then we had members of the finance committee that looked at it. We had 2 town halls, a lot of significant input from the community. And when it was all done and said, I felt good about it. I felt it was the best representation for all of us. And I look at that as a homeowner because that's my money as much as it is yours, and we need to take good care of it. At this point, we have projected that we will have a budget surplus from last year. Not a big one, but we did not have a deficit last year, and I think that's the first time in 5 or 6 years. And that, again, a credit to everyone for supporting a budget that was tight but necessary. We will have our final closed books paperwork and documents for 2023 when they come back from the gentleman who is doing our audit and our taxes for us. And I think that 5 or 6 weeks is what he had said, but I'm not sure. So that should be here soon. And then last year, I think we're off to a good start for 2024. It's not to say we haven't already incurred some challenges. The insurance for this year came in at a higher rate than we had projected. We had to do a little thinking and looking through our budget to see how to cover that without increasing dues at all. We found that the landscape contract came in lower than expected, so we were able to realign some dollars. And we will continue to do that kind of management of dollars throughout the year. And I think it's a good budget. We're going to make it through. I also want to say that one of the best things that's going for our finances right now is the finance committee. We have some new people who have joined the committee. Charlie's continuing, and Charlie Went just led that committee for several years. And I don't think I would have run for treasurer without his encouragement and support. So thanks to Charlie. We have a new chair. John Donald is taking over for this year. And they really look at the finances. They ask questions if things don't make sense. And First Service gets answers, like right away. So I look forward to continuing to work with them to make sure that things are in order and that your money is being well taken care of. and used properly to take care of your community.
You want to talk about what's on the back table?
Oh, people have asked, isn't there a pie chart? We used to have a pie chart that showed where our money goes and of that. And so we have a pie chart, and it shows, breaks down the monthly assessment. Where does my money go every month? And there are copies in the back, and it's really, I was surprised at some of these. I mean, we pay, what do we pay the very most for? It's kind of it's close between payroll and the land lease.
Yeah, the land lease.
So, you know, and the other thing in terms of going forward into this year, I believe that homeowners should not only have information, but they should understand it. And with finances, it's not always easy to take a look at it and understand what's happening and what's going on. And I have enjoyed the times when homeowners have asked me to get together and explain something. And whether I'm honored to continue as treasurer or not, I will continue to keep an eye on the finances. And I encourage you, if there's any time when you're looking at a document that this is Greek to me, feel free to call me or email me and we can sit down, because I think that making sure that homeowners understand is a responsibility of the board, and I look forward to doing that.
All right. So next we're going to talk about the effective use of technology. Evelyn.
Good afternoon. A strategic plan goal of the board was to make effective use of technology. And so the board established the ad hoc IT committee, and their goal is to review, inventory, and document all forms of technology that is being used throughout the association. And their first task was to review the Cox contract, because it's up for review next year. And, and with the question and with the idea, is Cox the best option for the association? Or as a cable and as an internet service provider, or should CA consider other options, such as Sci-Fi Networks offers to install fiber optics throughout the community of Oceana at no cost to the association. And Sci-Fi Networks is the actual vendor or contractor that has for the city of Oceanside's Fiber City project to install fiber optics in all homes and businesses throughout the city. And also, those are the options. Or should we go with hot wire communications? And that's still in process, and they're doing that research. And the committee is also working on a digital survey and collecting information and input from the membership to determine their technology uses. And another way that OCA is making effective use of technology, or made effective use of technology, is when we initiated the FOB system. And the FOB system grants improved security, the ability to customize access, easier to manage than the key system, allows for an electronic record of when, where, and who accesses the clubhouse complex. And another effective use of technology that the OCA is initiating is to identify, organize, provide OCA documents. And First Service Residential Connect membership portal does just that. It's a one-stop shop for members where you can make a service request. You can submit an architectural modification request. You can set your communication preferences. You can register your vehicle. You can register your pets, your animals. You can pay your assessment using ClickPay. You can access community news, the government documents, the forms. You can access the calendar of events. And also you can access knowledge-based information, for example, such as the parking rules for guests. And another way that the association or the board is making effective use of technology is by using First Service Connect tools to create the board packets. We also use Google Forms to submit items for the meeting agendas. We also use the Dropbox for cloud storage of OCA documents. And also for the First Service residential training videos, that's still in research and still in process. So we're looking into that so the board can use it in the future. And finally, OCA media. how we make an effective use of that is, as you can see and as you know, some of you at home that are watching right now, we use Zoom platform to live broadcast the meetings, okay? And we record the meetings and we post them on the OCA YouTube channel so you can look at your leisure. And also they take the recorded videos and they send it to the membership via e-blast.
Awesome, thank you, Evelyn. And the last topic is communication. There's your applause. An added thing now, should we applaud for Karen and Kelly and Roxanne and Peter too, because we did applaud for them? Yes? Okay, I'm going to talk about communication between the board, management, and residents. This is my topic to talk about today. So here are some ways that we try to improve that this year. Financial reporting. Our goal with financial reporting is to tell you exactly where we're on and off budget, so that you know that. And also to include our liability, the money we still owe to our legal firm for the OCA the OLC legal actions. So that was something we implemented so that you could see, well, yeah, we're paying this much every month, but we still owe this much. So that was a really good way for you to be able to understand what that is. We implemented our monthly fireside chats this year. This was a way for you to have up close time with a board member, and an opportunity for you to get information in a small environment. So we'd like to see more of you there. Third Wednesday every month, 6 o'clock. We added the news you can use column to the Hilltop Highlights. I don't know if you know that we added that, but you probably read it. So we added that column. So we have a board member who each month writes about what are the decisions we made the previous month, and also answers the questions that are brought up in homeowners' comments if they're not applicable to their particular house. So if somebody says, well, Anita once, she wanted to know about the temperature in the rooms, why she couldn't control the temperature in the room. So we made it, you can control the temperature in the rooms, put that in news you can use. Board member of the month, this is something we started with last year's board, we continued it this year. So this is a way, if you send an email to all of us on the board, someone will respond to you and just to make sure that you're heard, and often there's an action from that. The weekly e-blast, the thing that you love. So we added a board section to this to keep you up to date with meetings and in communication like the one about this meeting. And then we have special e-blasts that we do for things about our court filings. So yesterday you got 2 from me. So one about the court filings and then one about this meeting. So that's to keep you up to date with everything that's going on there. Line item of the week we had for a couple of months. We ran this for 2 months to explain the larger items that were in the budget to you. So we did that so you could sort of understand why is that thing so big, why do we pay so much. On the statements that First Service puts out, there's also a verbiage area, and we put in there information that if you don't get the e-blast, you only have so many characters, but we try to put information there like the annual meeting is coming up, things like that. And then we did town halls this year on the budget, community management, and for legal. So this is a chance for you to be heard if you don't want to come to a board meeting and do that. So these are available to any and all homeowners. And that's sort of what we did around communication this year. This is my applause now. Ready? Go. So we made it to the end of the year. But that's what we did in our strategic plan, the board's strategic plan for this year. So now Marisa is going to talk with the microphone about First Service Residential. And you just give me a nod when you want me to go to the next slide. Or she's going to give me a piece of paper. Oh, thank you. Okay. All right. Oops, sorry. This is Marisa McVeigh, if you don't know. She's Vice President with First Service Residential.
Marissa, hold it in until
Pardon
it
me?
turns on.
You hold the mute button until it turns green. It takes a second. There we go, there you go. So Marisa is Vice President for Service Residential. She's the boss of our general manager. So when we haven't had a general manager, she's been our general manager, but now we have a general manager and she's his boss again.
Yes. So welcome everybody, glad that you're here. Just give you a quick brief history on myself. I too am an Oceanside resident. I've been in Oceanside for 28 years. My mother-in-law was the economic developer for the city of Oceanside, so I've known about Oceana for years. And the opportunity to manage Oceana was actually a personal goal of mine. And so that's why I'm so excited that First Service has that opportunity to work with you and work with the board. Next slide.
Sorry.
So at First Service Residential, we are a nationwide company. We actually are also international, Canada. We probably have about 1,263 dedicated associates, 600 properties managed, and that's actually gone up. Our latest numbers, I think, just in California, we're up to about 800,000 residents that we serve. And the goal of what First Service is we're here to make sure that your property values, the quality of your life are maintained, and then we actually want to improve upon it. Next. Our mission, our strategic vision, we always assist with the boards. We try to implement, do the right thing. We aim high. We're always going to own it. That's one of our biggest things, because in association management, nothing is ever perfect. I think Mike from the Landscape Committee yesterday had said to me, Rome wasn't built in a day. And I said, that is actually true. And I want to commend the board here for taking making the choice to go to professional managed. Because being self-managed, that's a lot of work as a volunteer. And what we want to do is provide board members the opportunity to actually live in their association without having to do a lot of work. And leave the hard, we're going to do the heavy lifting for you. So these are some of our core values: aim high, build great relationships, own it, do what's right, improve it, and be genuinely helpful, because that's what our goal. And so the office staff, we're introducing them, they've been introduced to them. We carry that motto all the way through, even with homeowners, residents, vendors, because we like to partner with everybody, because no one is successful unless you partner with each other. Next.
We need to take time out here for a minute.
Please, let's take a break. We just lost connection.
Okay. We're going to take a break so we're going to resume. Get everybody up here.
I think I'm okay now. Can you check?
All right. I need a board. I need a board. Lynn, are you in the building? Okay, are we ready? I want to let you know that we're going to send out the PowerPoint so you don't have to take pictures anymore. So just so you know, we'll send out the PowerPoint. I have right here, put PowerPoint on website. Okay, Marisa, it's back. We're good, you guys? Ready to go? Okay, so Marisa, we're going to continue. Do you want me to go to the next slide?
Yes, please.
We lost two.
Okay, so in 2023, again, going back to hats off to the board for choosing to go to professional management, because it really is a huge hill to climb. And I think you guys have done it very, very well. In 2023, as Lynn had indicated, this will be the first year as far as a favorable year ending for financials. One of the things that we offered, and Lynn did mention, is all your HR, your accounting, that's all been bundled. So for those services you were paying out individually, we actually were able to provide to you at a less cost, because our partnership with our people, we're able to benefit for the association at a lower cost for HR, accounting, anything to that degree. And then we also have an FFI, an investment department, that will actually assist. We leverage our partnerships with banks to get you the highest interest rate, so that the association benefits from interest off of your CDs. Safe investments, right, Lynn? Also, customize your electronic pathways, internal controls to safeguard assets, accounts payable processing. And one of the big things that we do is we did reduce the risk directly to Oceana itself. And that's what we value in order to bring to you, because we bring our expertise to the board, guide the board, give them advice as far as what's the best way to tackle anything. And our goal is to reduce litigation and reduce insurance claims by making sure you're following Davis Sterling and all the guidelines. Compliance, that was the regulatory requirements, and then 24/7, 365 online and voice response services. Next slide. 2024 goals. We are really looking forward to working with the new board and with the strategic planning, which again, Lynn's goal, I know, will be to save more and more money, which will be everybody's. Also with the new general manager, Michael Flores, it was sad to see that Dan decided to retire, but Michael is now here. We're going to review reserve element values to determine real-time replacement cost, because that reserve report is very, very important. Continue implementing efficiency tools to reduce your costs. Ensure insurance and vendor policies are in place to prevent lapses in coverages that lead to claims and legal matters. We have a department, a lot of associations will experience, a vendor will come on to a community and they say, oh, I've got insurance, all this stuff and whatever. And the day or the week after they step on the property, their workers' comp is expired. A lot of claims are then passed on to the association if that vendor doesn't have the correct insurance. So we have a whole department that manages and monitors that, and we alert the board and say, hey, and we work with the vendors as well, because we partner with the vendors for the benefit of the association. One of the big things that we're going to be looking at is establishing the online room scheduling for all your activities and reducing the association's legal exposure as much as possible. Associate safety. So you have a staff over there where we're going to perform safety audits and provide action plans to correct any of the issues and investigate and administer workplace accidents. And workers' comp claim is just to reduce them, period, be it with your vendors or be it with your associates. Next slide. Oh, that's it. One thing I did want to mention, and Lynn took the opportunity this year to gain her board leadership certificate. That is with the Community Association Institute at CAI. It's a nationwide certification, so thank you, Lynn. And also the Oceanside Community Association is now registered with CAI as volunteer leaders, so that was another accomplishment in 2023. Congrats.
Thank you, Marciel.
And at this time, I'd like to introduce Michael Flores, new general manager.
I'm honored and privileged to be here. You guys have taken the initial... Closer? You guys have taken the initial hard steps of transitioning over to a professional management company. That's a wise decision, but with change, there's transition, and those initial steps are tough. One thing I would like to say right now, just stepping on the grounds of the association, you have a beautiful community. And I know you take a lot of pride. You've worked very hard to get here and to enjoy your life. And our mission is to gain your confidence to not only create systems and procedures that are streamlined, but also allows you to enjoy your life here fully. To focus on the activities, focus on what you have here. That's the goal. And a lot of the red tape and the creating of the policies, procedures, amending the CCNRs, take a look at the governing documents, gain the most bang for your buck. That's why we're here. And I haven't been here in quite a while. I was stationed in Pendleton the last time I was here. And I stood a couple of years after in Ocean Beach. I did love San Diego, and just the vibe, just the air. And it's nice to be back home. And I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity to come and contribute. The last association I was with, it was definitely a challenge. It was developer controlled, and I had walked into a situation where I was pulled aside by some of the committees. Again, it's developer control, so there was no board of directors. The board director was the developer. And the homeowners were contemplating a class action and actually not paying their assessments. That's to the point where they had come to. And it was my job to turn the association around. They had 3 landscapers at the time, and they were doing the fingers pointing, faulty irrigation systems. They had a storm that had destroyed about maybe, I'd say, a quarter of the landscaping. and nothing was replaced. So it was my job to streamline that. And also the office, I believe the one person that was there for 4 years was just worn down to a nub. So it was my job to go in there and create a structure that was favorable to the homeowners and to bolster and gain their confidence again. And so out of that situation, I wanted to read you my parting e-blast that went out from the community, and it'll shed some light as to what I bring to the table and what I'm hoping to contribute to the community. Dear members of the Granite Dells Homeowners Association, we are writing to inform you of some of the changes within the community management team. It is with mixed emotions that we announce Michael Flores' departure from his role as the community manager at Granite Dells. Michael has been an integral part of the community, and his dedication and hard work have greatly contributed to the betterment of the association. While we will all miss his presence, we are excited to support him as he embarks on his new and exciting adventures in his career. That was a tough journey. That was a 2-year journey. Nothing happens overnight. I think you said Rome wasn't built in a day. Definitely. But it is the consistent hard work, is that consistency and that level of communication that makes all the world of a difference. I had homeowners come in and they're pretty livid at the end of those conversations. I was able to gain their respect and their trust because they saw I was going to do the right thing. My team was going to do the right thing, and we had the support structure. I'm not going to come in here and claim to know everything. I will learn along with you guys, but I do come with 20 plus years of legal experience. I also was an operations manager for a landscaping company, so I bring that experience as well. And then I've been doing property management for quite a while. So again, thank you so much for the opportunity. I look forward to working with you, look forward to working with the board, and I'm really excited about what's to come.
How long is your commute?
My commute is less than 3 miles. I'm trying to take that any better. Thank you, looking forward to meeting with you all, and again, excited to work with you.
Thank you, Mike. Just so you know, Michael likes to be called Mike, so you can just call him. Thank you, Mike. Welcome. Awesome. Okay, I want to make this comment. If you want to, at the homeowners comments part, if you want to say something, because we only have a couple here. If you want to say something, not yet, Kelly. Not yet. Please go to the back and put one of the forms in there, and Kelly's going to go there in a few minutes and look. But if you want to say something during the homeowner comment time, that will be your chance. So if you fill out that form, we'll call you up when it's your turn. We have a small piece of business that's on the agenda for today, so we're going to do that now. Peter is going to explain to you what the mixed-use property is on Vista Bella. And then he has provided a letter for the board of directors that we're going to approve today, hopefully, because we asked him to do this. And then 2 templates that are going to be provided for the homeowners that you can issue out to the city and the city planning, and he's going to tell you how to do that. So Peter, why don't you give everybody a brief overview and then what you're looking for us to approve.
Okay, brief overview. 503 Vista Bella. It's the office building down the street at the stop sign on the left. It's presently unoccupied, and it's in planning right now for development. What are they proposing to put there? They're proposing to put 77 units with commercial on the first floor. The building is going to be 68 feet tall, 6 stories, and with an architectural element at the top, it will take it up to 74. That's what they're asking. That's what they're going to ask for a waiver for that. The height requirements, as per the zoning code, the zoning ordinance in Oceanside is 50 feet. And the density, according to the zoning ordinance, is 50 units. So using, for want of a better way to describe it, funny math, they're able to ask for these additional units. Once again, that's going to be a waiver as well. Okay, some of us attended a meeting that was held down there in December. The development company really didn't do a good job of advertising it, and when we got down there, there were virtually no lights on, so I don't know how many people went there and thought there was no meeting and didn't try and get in the building. The city planner turned his truck around and put his headlights on so people could see their way into the building and out of the building. The developers presented the projected the project as planned at this point in time. That was labeled a town hall. In terms of the chronology going forward, they have to have a second town hall. They've submitted a third plan revision to the city of Oceanside. The city planner, Manuel, I spent an hour with last week and learned a lot. He's in the process of finishing up his review of the third development plan. He will then send his revision letter back to the developer. There will be a change of the plan. That will be the fourth plan. It will go back to Manuel again, and he will review it again. And in all likelihood, he predicts there will be a fifth plan. In terms of the chronology of this project, it may hit after the fifth plan revision, and whatever revisions they make to the plan, it may go to the Planning Commission at the end of the summer or the fall. What I've put together here are a couple of letters, and Manuel stressed the point that the more letters the city gets and the Planning Commission gets expressing concern or expressing opposition to this project, the better. If they don't hear from anybody, they think it's a slam dunk. And the other thing that's not being factored into this equation right now is what we're seeing going up down on Stagecoach, the Berlin Wall. That's going to be a huge project. And when I asked Manuel about that in terms of traffic studies, one traffic study's been done for 503 Vista Bella. Planning Commission has not connected the dots between traffic generated by 503 and the Lennar project whenever that's completed. So traffic is a huge issue, and it will impact all of us. So we have two letters back here. One goes to the planning department, and the other goes to the city council. I encourage everyone to get a letter, sign them, put them in the mail.
Where are they?
Okay, so
They're in the back.
No, they're not here. So
50 copies, there's 50 copies in the back.
Yeah, Kurt put 50 copies back there.
okay, but the letter has to be approved first. So that's the process. So the reason we're doing this right now is for the board to approve the letters, the letter templates.
It's not the board letter,
It's a letter from residents.
These are the homeowner letters.
I understand these ones that are in here, correct?
Yeah, they can write whatever they
Yeah.
want. We don't pass that.
We're sending a letter from the board as well.
Correct, but these template letters in here we were supposed to talk about today, correct?
Okay, we just got done talking. Does the board need to approve the template letters?
Well, that's what we said at the last board meeting, that's why I'm asking.
I think what we need to approve is the letter from the board of directors to the city, and then the template ones are an example of what people could use.
Okay, so, all right, that's not what we said at the last meeting, but, okay.
I have a motion.
And once again, these are template letters. If you don't like this letter, you can revise it and send your own letter out. This is just a template with talking points. I would encourage everyone to read the development plan as well. And that gives you a real picture of how they've juggled the math to ask for these additional units. And it gives you a sense of what the zoning ordinance is, what's allowable. Oh, and a very important thing, they asked for 21 waivers. 14 of those waivers are allowing them to accommodate the proposed development. In other words, they're trying to stick as much stuff on this 1.78 acre plot as they can. And the Planning Commission has the choice to approve or disapprove these waivers, these requested waivers.
Okay, so, Peter, do you have a,
Kelly has a question.
oh, sorry. Well,
I just templates that homeowners can send out and do what you want to. On the example here, it says, "Dear Planning Commission members," with the address above it. You can also use that same address for city council members and, of course, our mayor. That address goes directly to the city hall, and but you may want to make separate letters for each council member, the commission, and then...
There are separate letters, is
Yeah.
that what's back there too? Okay, so they're separate.
Because I'm not seeing them.
Okay, can we have one conversation? So there are separate
But
letter
anyway, that's just information, that wasn't a question.
There's separate letter templates. One is for the city and the other is for the planning development. That's what's in the back of the room. And we can put those out as well to all the homeowners. So Peter, do you have a motion for what you want us to approve here today?
Yeah, I'd like to approve the letter from the board to the City Planning Commission stating our concerns about the proposed development of 503 Vista Ballot.
Do I have a second? Okay, Karen seconds. Discussion. Lynn?
No,
Kelly? No? Roxanne? No. Evelyn?
No comment.
Karen? Me either. All in favor of the letter from the Board of Directors as issued here, raise your hand. 700. Okay, Peter, you need to sign it, and so that it goes out, because it's from you on our behalf. Okay. All right, now, Kelly, it's time.
My exercise.
Okay, so the first thing, so this is the homeowners comment section. So, but first thing, someone asked a question but didn't put their name on here. They don't want to make a comment, they want to answer. So the problem is we don't know who you are. So if this was who you are, I'm going to give this to Lynn, and she's the right person to answer this question for you, but you need to come find her. So come find her after the meeting, and she will answer that question for you. You know who you are. Okay, so we have several here now, and I'm going to read one that was submitted, so I'm going to read that first. So this is the homeowner comment section. Peter is the timer. He's going to time me trying to read this email fast. It's 3 minutes. Now, if you want to say more, once we're finished with everybody, you can come back again. So there's no limit to the number of times that you can talk, but we're going to limit it to 3 minutes to move along, and we ask, if it's already been asked, to not repeat it unless you want to say, I want to say what Frank said. So, okay, so here's the first one. Hello, my name is Diane Huntley, and I've lived in Oceana for over 10 years in Unit 9. I'm here to speak with you today on behalf of community members Lynn Friedberg, Susan Riley, Fred Foucher, and Liz Foucher on the topic of tree pruning and tree removal. We are grateful to the Board of Directors and the Landscape Committee for keeping our community safe from hazards posed by dead trees and branches. After reviewing the forestry group contract that was approved last week, we'd like to bring it to the committee's attention, and then she lists the law in here in lieu of not running out of time. This is about what is unlawful to do around birds and not destroying them or taking possession. Community members have photographed hawks around Oceana, including one of the trees slated to be removed. Last year during nesting season, Fish and Game officers responded to trees being removed at Emerald Golf Course. Can our community really afford fines and restitution? In addition to Oceana being a habitat for birds of prey, the local and migrating birds make Oceana their home and bring beauty and value to our community. According to the maps and their contracts, here are a few examples of trees to be pruned or removed. 25 bottlebrush trees. Bottlebrush trees are where hummingbirds and mockingbirds build their nests. 88 pear trees. Pears are habitat for all birds, especially songbirds and woodpeckers, and they provide perches for hummingbird and bluebirds. 23 eucalyptus trees. Eucalyptus trees are where owls and hawks often nest. The contract allowing for the pruning, clearing, and cutting to be completed with 279 days from the date of commencement. We ask the work begin in July after the nesting season. And most tree experts agree that April through June are not good months to prune trees as they need the stored energy to produce new leaves and grow to their fullest, as opposed to using that energy to heal the wounds of pruning. After a preliminary assessment, we found several trees to be misidentified, and trees have been planted 1 to 2 years ago, are on the vendor's list but do not require pruning. Starting work in October would give the community a chance to rectify misidentified trees with their arborists. Thank you for considering our request to delay the start of this project, and thank you for keeping our community safe and being stewards of the land. Did I finish with time left? Oh, I have a minute. Okay. All right, so next is going to be Don Betts. Are you here, Don? And then after him is going to be Sydney Wasson, so if you could come forward, that would be great.
Hello, can you hear me?
That's not on yet.
Try it again. Try it again. It takes time.
It takes a minute. Is the light on?
It's green.
Okay.
It's green, okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Don.
As we all know, water is precious, and we've had problems with sprinklers, making waterfalls near where we live. And I know I had mentioned to a previous board that when the maintenance supervisor, Ron Wager, was here, he'd have all his guys turn on the water, check all for leaks and the lights and see if they're out. As far as I know, that didn't happen. I had mentioned it recently to Dan before he left, and he kind of shrugged it off like, well, all the landscapers do that. Just mow and hit the sprinkler and keep on going. So I was kind of disappointed with that response. And one last thing, last month I fell in the parking lot by the wood shop, and it took me a while to get help because people were whizzing by. At night, that parking lot is pitch black. I think lights would prevent accidents from happening and make it more secure and safe too. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Don.
Leave it on.
Sydney, and then after her is going to be Jerry Dolly.
Hey, Don? Don, are you okay?
Oh yeah, I was pretty banged up and bruised, but my hero, I'm sure she's here, Lisa, came by in her buggy. She could hear me yelling help, and she and a couple other people helped me up. But I couldn't get up otherwise. I would have been there all night.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad you're okay.
Thank you.
All right, Sydney?
I have two items. First concerns the development on Vistabella. Haven't looked at the homeowner template letters. Obviously, we didn't see the board letter. Has any of this discussed the possibility or the question of putting in an additional signal on El Camino at Vista Ray? So I think that's an important point to include in any of our responses to this possible project. Is that intersection is already dangerous, and the additional traffic is just going to increase that problem. My second one is really simple. As we all did, I got the second ballot, the yellow envelope ballot, and I brought it today, but I can't turn it in. I'm told they're not accepting them. This is the company that I'm supposed to put a stamp on and mail it to. I think I ought to be able to leave it here today.
All right, Jerry. And after Jerry is going to be Eileen Costa. You're all right.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you, board. Neighbors, I live in Unit 9. I live at the bottom of F Street. And just a reminder, I know there's only probably 30, 40 signs, but when you get off of Vista Campana, north or south, the speed limit is, how many people know what the speed limit is off of Vista Campana? 10. Well, I guess a lot of your speedometers don't work. I live at the bottom of F, and I know if you were riding a bike, you'd probably get past 10 miles an hour. It's downhill. But people drive through there so fast. And you know what? It happens. It's easy. I know. You're just coming back and you go down a hill and it's a big wide open space and you think, I'll just go for it. But you know, especially this winter, there's so many times I walk my dog, there's lots of other people walking their dogs, there's people in walkers, there's mothers and grandmothers with their children, and here comes this car just flying down the hill. There's lots of cars parked on that street. And so people step out behind a car. And I have, you know, I don't want to be the old man who's, get off my lawn! slow the hell down. I'd be doing it all day long. So, if you think about it, even one time would be, I would really like to see people slow down. And I know it's human nature, you're probably gonna maybe do it once or twice, then you're gonna forget about it. And you just get back to the same, flying down that hill 15, 20, 25 miles an hour. It would be really sad if somebody's dog got run over, or somebody got hit, or whatever. So, I'm gonna ask you to slow down, and I hope other people, and I don't know what it's like in other places. I don't notice it quite that fast when you get far enough back. But if you could slow down a little bit, and if you can't slow down, I'm going to start working to see if we can't put in some speed bumps. I would like to see a speed bump. If it saves one life, or one broken leg, or I don't have to stand out there and become a cranky old man going, slow the hell down! So that's my comment. Thank you. 10 miles an hour. And you know what? I can look out here and I can see, oh yeah, I know you. I know you. And you know, I'm sure it's been me sometimes. But just slow down. Thank you.
Thank you. If only all homeowner comments were that interesting, yes, thank you. Great job. Eileen, you're next, and then after her is Diane Harris.
Hi, my name's Eileen. I wanted to add to the problem with Vista Bella. It wasn't mentioned that Oceanside does not have an evacuation plan, and there are only 2 exits onto Camino Real, and both of them are on either side of the development and the church. And if there was an emergency and everybody was asked to evacuate suddenly, there's 2 streets. If the church population was there and the housing population, and I believe there's stores under the apartments that they're going to build, how many cars would that be trying to get out on Vista Bella on those 2 streets? You couldn't do it. And Oceanside is not looking at any evacuation plans. So in addition to the letters that have been so wonderfully provided, what would they have to do? Write to the traffic department? No?
There will be more information coming on this. You're 100% correct. We need to look at evacuation plans. It's not something you contact the city and have them make a plan for you. It's something that we ask the police and fire, because they're always going to be the lead on any emergency evacuation, to come out and work with our community and say, hey, what is the plan to evacuate us? Because they can, right now we're looking at just 2 exits, but they come out, they direct traffic, they change the lights, they get everything out of here. So I have a couple of other people I want to work with on this, and I want to somehow, I started on this around COVID, but I want to somehow stage a, not an impromptu, but an evacuation plan so that everybody can see what's going on. So thank you for bringing this up. But don't contact any city officials yet.
When they were going to build the addition to the church, I did find out about the lack of evacuation plans. The fire department is not interested in it, and the police department isn't. The police department said call the fire department.
Excuse me, sorry, your 3 minutes are up. You can come back later, but your
That's
3
all
minutes
right.
up.
No, I'm done.
And I want to remind the board,
We'll talk.
I want to remind the board that we're taking homeowner comments here, so. Diane?
I am green. Hi, folks. I have 2 questions. I moved in 2018, and since I've been here, the monthly assessments have doubled. So of any of those reasons for the increases, are any of those reasons temporary, and will things be going back down? And the second part is, when there's a surplus in the budget, is that surplus money given back to the homeowners, or is it applied to another building?
All right, and that was the end of the homeowner comments. Does anybody have any more? Okay, so we're gonna take about a 25-minute break because the inspector needs that much time. So it's 2:35, so we're gonna resume back at 3 o'clock. Hello, I'm gonna use this microphone, not that one, or either of those. Would you like us to tell jokes, do animal impersonation, Karen?
They're not ready. Is anybody interested in adopting a dog? Come find me.
If you want a dog, it's Diane. Diane, she has one that needs adopted. A wiener dog mix. Oh. Don't tell my wife. I had a wiener dog growing up, honey. He's like, no. Oh, he can say no in public. Trust me. Okay, they're standing up. Is that a good sign? He's standing up. Play by play. But they're looking at the computer still.
Internet's still unstable.
Okay, they appear to be making their way to the front. Are you making your way to the front? Yes! Round of applause! I think that microphone's ready there, yeah?
Hold on to the There you go. Excellent.
Okay, we do have our results here. We always start out with the IRS tax initiative. So in terms of the IRS tax resolution 7604, that was approved. It had a total of 311 yes votes, 15 no votes, and 60 abstained from that measure. So we passed with 311. So now we're going to go ahead and, in the order of listed on the ballot, which is alphabetically, here are your results in terms of directors. Lisa Baggett received a total of 141 votes. Karen Bishop received a total of 137 votes. Kelly Byrne received 101 votes. Teresa Spradlin received a total of 195 votes. Kurt Continent received a total of 142 votes. Kathleen Dowling received 203 votes. Peggy Moore received 111 votes. Sandy Reiser received 96 votes. John Vaught, 119 votes.
So who's in? Tell us who's in.
So nominee-elect, so director-elect would be Kathleen Dowling with 203 votes. Teresa Spradlin, 195 votes. Kurt Conton with 142, and Lisa Baggett with 141.
Okay, so we're going to take 5 minutes to allow the new board members to come up and the old board members to leave, and then we'll be in 5 minutes. Oh, and I adjourn the annual meeting. We have the time.
Evelyn and Roxanne and I.
Oh, she's sitting at second.
There's some more.
No, they won't. Just the next in line. Secretary's gone, president's gone, so the treasurer will be.
Okay, the agenda for the organizational meeting is the seating of the officers. We will be electing, who is doing what, a resolution on the banks, and then adopting our calendar. I would like to as chair until we select a chair, I would like to say congratulations and welcome aboard to the new board members. I look forward to working with all of you. I know all three of us do, having some new ideas and new energy. I also want to say, a special thank you to our outgoing board members. I know the amount of time that they have put in, the commitment that they have had to this community. And whether we've agreed or disagreed, we have always put the community first. I myself have learned and grown and would not be the board member I am today if it weren't for Karen and Sandy and Kelly and Peter. Please don't go away. Be active in the community. We need you. All right, the first thing on the agenda then, we need a chair to run this meeting. I'm glad to do it if you select me or if someone else would like to be the chair. Do we have a nomination, or shall I nominate myself to be the chair of the committee?
Yeah, you're the only acting officer, so I nominate you to be the chair of this
Do
organization.
we have a second? Second. Everyone in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. You've all received the description of the various duties of the different offices. The board functions as a team where we all work together on everything. There are some responsibilities that we all don't have to share in doing, and those are the reasons for the offices. Running the meetings, setting the agenda, following the financials, keeping minutes, and working with committees. And that's what the officers do. I'd like to go around and ask each of you which office, if any, you are interested in and why you would like to do that. And saying that I don't want to run for an office is acceptable. I don't want to be putting you on the spot. Lisa?
Use your mic, make sure it's turned on. You have to hit mute.
Bottom left.
Yes.
First thing you have to do is learn how to open up the mic.
This one's not screwed. First thing on the board, you need to learn how to work these microphones.
Thank you.
I had trouble all year. If you go back and watch some of the tapes, you'll hear Sandy, Lynn, the microphone. Lynn, the microphone.
I haven't had a chance to even look at these, so it's really hard to say. Is there such a thing as an assistant treasurer?
Okay.
Well, you can be an assistant to the treasurer, and I'd love to teach you all about it because someone will need to do it the year after, so we can team up.
Okay,
That does not need to be an elected position. That is just an offer to help.
yes, offer to help.
Okay.
Yes.
Teresa?
I'd like to have an offer to help someone else.
Okay.
Until next year.
Okay. Kurt?
I don't have a preference of being an officer. I'm just happy to be on the board to contribute.
Evelyn?
Secretary. That's the role I would like to play on this term for this board and for the community.
Okay.
Roxanne.
I guess I should say Roxanne. I'm so used to talking with her here that.
It's not on?
It's on. Hold it closer.
I would like to put my name in for the president for this year.
Okay. Kathleen?
Well, Vice President is left, so I'm interested in that. I think that would be a good backup for Roxanne.
And I would like to continue as treasurer. I'm really excited that there's someone that's interested in learning about it and helping, because the transition and consistency of those responsibilities is really important, so we'll go forward. So I would like to do that. We'll start with the president. Do I have a nomination for president?
I nominate Roxanne for president.
Do I have a second? You're gonna get, she's our second. When they call for a second, just turn and look at her, that's all you need. Okay, all in favor of Roxanne as president? Pass unanimously. And with that, I'm passing this microphone to our new president to finish.
I put it in the bucket, sorry.
Okay. Let's just go down. Let's see, next we would have our secretary.
No, vice president.
Vice president. Okay, well, we'll go to Vice President Kathleen Dowling. Do I have any nominations for her?
I nominate Kathleen.
Second?
Second.
And let's take a vote. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Unanimous. Let's go to treasurer. Do we have a nomination for Lynn as treasurer?
I move that we nominate Lynn as treasurer.
Second.
And let's see how many are in favor of that. Raise your hand. And that was unanimous too. Great. We have a very unanimous board. And the last position was the secretary. And do we have a nomination for Evelyn?
I nominate Evelyn for secretary. Second.
And all those in favor? Okay. So this is your new board. Thank you all for coming. And let's see, I think with that, the resolution for, yes, if you wouldn't mind, that would be the treasurer. Thank you.
And we need to pass a resolution that the officers will be the signers on the two accounts that we maintain here, the activities account and our operating fund investment account. They're here at Union Bank that current officers are on, and we'll be changing it. So may I make a motion? Is that what it make a motion that we make that change in representatives, and that the 4 officers be named on that bank account. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, the 4 officers, we can get together and go down there together.
Okay.
Next week or the week after.
Okay, next on the agenda is adopting a calendar for March and April scheduled meetings. That will be our regular schedule. We'll have our executive meetings again on the last Monday of the month. We schedule that starting at 10. We may have to adjust that a little bit. I'll get back to you on that. And then our regular March general meeting will be the last Wednesday in March. That would be, I believe, the 27th. Do we need to do a motion on that? No. Okay. And then April would be the same. So we have not changed any of our dates. So in April, and then we'll work from there. April, we have our executive meeting the last Monday of the month, 10 o'clock. And then we'll have the last Wednesday of the month, our general meeting, starting at 9:30. So we'll continue with that unless, as we get into this, we find there's some kind of conflict. Okay? Then I will also be giving you all you seated officers. We'd like your contact information, your committee preferences. Each member of the board is asked to sit as liaison for approximately 3 committees. It's been really my pleasure to do it. I've loved it. Getting to go to different meetings and meeting so many wonderful people who are active in our community. So what I would like is to fill out the form and maybe put your preferences in order. Of course, I may not be able to put everybody on their first choice, but I'll try to get you on your second choice then. And then if there's no other questions, anybody? Okay, then I call this meeting adjourned at, let's see, 3:42.
Thank you.
Because it includes
Turn that off? That one is the record. Push that in.